Why, hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scrappy Reviews. I'm doing Planet Scrappy right now because I'm just reviewing some Scrappy-Doo episodes. I'm on a bit of a hiatus from YouTube, but I wanted to put some content out there while I worked on my Scooby content that will be returning in September. I'm doing the new Scooby-Doo movies. These episodes, they take a long time to do because the episodes are about 44 minutes long, so they take double the amount of time it would normally take. And I just wanted to put out a video every week, keep things consistent. As that's what everyone seems to like. So right now I'm on a hiatus, but I'm putting out some quick videos while I work on these Scooby-Doo episodes as well as enjoy my summer. I live in Canada. We only get like 3 or 4 months of nice weather. So I figured I'd take some time off to enjoy summer. And I'm still spending a little time putting out videos. Anyway, today we are covering the Chinese Food Factory, and this episode originally aired on November 8th, 1980, and is part 3 of the first episode in the Richie Rich Scooby-Doo Show. This Richie Rich Scooby-Doo Show was like a cartoon hour block that kind of ran when I was a kid in 1980, and it featured a bunch of Richie Rich episodes and Scooby-Doo episodes kind of crammed into one. I remember watching it as a kid, and I liked the Richie Rich episodes a little more than Scooby-Doo. I was a big Scooby-Doo fan at the time, but I felt betrayed by how we had Scrappy and they made these episodes super silly and super comedic and took away the spooky element. In this episode, we see Scooby, Shaggy, and Scrappy becoming night watchmen for a Chinese food factory where they encounter a ghost with sticky fingers. And like I mentioned above, I'm not a huge fan of this series, but how much will I dislike this episode? Let's find out. The episode begins with the gang walking through Chinatown where a parade is occurring. During the parade, the gang see a job application for night watchman on a Chinese food restaurant.
Hey, like that's for us guys. Night watchman wanted. All you can eat.
And here you are paid in all-you-can-eat Chinese food. So the gang land the job and they patrol the restaurant, which is also, I guess, a factory where they make Chinese food, and they discover a fortune cookie assembly line.
Like this place is creepy.
Well, we got the job, guys. A fortune cookie assembly line.
Scrappy turns the machine on and accidentally turns Scooby into a giant fortune cookie. Also inside is a man wearing a mask and a kimono, and he watches the gang as they head into the kitchen. Shaggy and Scooby dig into some bowls of soup and noodles and pig out. Before they can nab seconds, the man in the mask and kimono turns off the lights. Scooby and Shaggy run around in a panic while Scrappy is blinded by his oversized night watchman cap. The ghost tries to run out of the factory with a safe on wheels, and his mask falls off, revealing that he is a burglar.
So long, bunglers. This burglar's leaving. Some night watchman.
We get plenty of hijinks as the burglar scares Shaggy and Scooby. Scrappy finally catches the bad guy by lassoing him with a giant wet noodle. With another mystery solved, the gang are rewarded with another feast by the owner.
For saving my factory, Chinese feast you well deserve.
I give this episode a 2.5 out of 10. It's not horrible. It's just silly and stupid and brainless, and it's not as bad as I thought it'd be or how I kind of remembered this era of Scrappy and Scooby-Doo, but it's not my thing. It's not really real Scooby-Doo to me, even though it features Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is just kind of a former shadow of himself. He gets a bit of screen time, but most of his time is just him running away from something. And I think in the original Scooby-Doo, he had a little more to do. This is really mostly focused on Scrappy. And I think that was just to a change in marketing and such during this era. They really wanted to market a certain demographic, and that was super young kids who demanded sugary cereal, demanded Star Wars toys, and they demanded McDonald's fast food. Because all these episodes are basically just to keep eyes on TVs for commercials where they could push these fast food toys and sugary cereals and candy and all that junk, right? That's all it was made for. It wasn't really made for me to watch as a mature man in, 2021, 40 or 50 years later. So for what it was back then, it did its job. I certainly watched these as a kid. But again, 2.5 out of 10 because it's not really Scooby-Doo to me. And if you're a Scrappy fan, I could see why. I don't hate Scrappy. I just dislike the way they went with the series in that they took out the spookiness. Anyway, next week I will be covering Scooby's Desert Dilemma. Until then, stay spooky.